Phoenix.
Wake up, it's time to see the love within, the heart that's free, free, free.
Seneca's Happy Life and Spinoza's Philosophy of Happiness.
This is a current of thought that has continued through the ages with the Spinozists, a current in which it is the reflection on happiness and its search that counts. Paradoxically, it should be noted that only people who do not consider themselves happy can have a focus on this work of seeking happiness. They perceive an existential lack in their lives that makes them think intensely about this concept of happiness. It is again a journey with a different view angle on our world. Reflection here comes down to distinguishing the elements that make some people happy and others not. And once happiness has been found, things are so simple that we end up saying, "Blessed are the simple-minded." The good stress caused by challenges puts the subject in a position to work on this concept in addition to knowing himself and doubting the appearances of this world. Third ingredient. If you think that this is a key element for you, it will be up to you to read and reread the works of the Spinozists. Don't forget to familiarize yourself with Socrates and Plato anyway. Once happiness has been found, the subject becomes awake, and both Seneca and Spinoza thus join Socrates and Plato among the freethinkers. I will make here the hypothesis that I will keep throughout this book. Once individuals know themselves, have intensely doubted appearances, and have found happiness, they are all equally free thinkers and recognize each other. They are free, equal, and fraternal, even when they keep on developing themselves to become even more aware. This is a connection with the motto of France, Liberté, Égalité, Fraternité. What then differentiates these awakened subjects from each other? Mainly the projects and the objectives they set for themselves. Because inactivity would quickly make an individual fall back into the cave, I was somehow close and far from waking up 6 times before, each time progressing further as if I was climbing a mountain, with rest houses on the path. In 1995, when I got my baccalaureate and was on a direct track to become an engineer. In 1999, when I started to experience responsible freedom with my first work as an engineer. In 2004, when I finished paying my student loan and felt empowered to create a family. In 2011, when I freed myself from someone at work that was somehow considering me as a slave and ended up harassing me while I was also experiencing violence in my personal life. In 2013, after a phase where I was thinking thoroughly about life and philosophy, as I first thought about divorce, but, unfortunately, I chose to stop thinking hard, and laziness replaced my assertiveness. In 2020, when I look back again at my life at home and decided to leave home for 4 months, experiencing loneliness and calmness again. I could add a 7th time at birth. And now then, the 8th time is the good one. A saying states that you will fall 7 times and rise 8 times. A link with 8 representing the infinity. Anyway, I plunged 3 times into a depressive mindset because I no longer had the vital impulse that allows me to have projects and to act. Without action, reflection is not enough to stay awake. Today, I have chosen several professional projects. Several writing projects, a life project as free-thinking coach, a philosophical education project for my children, a project to author more music, a project to develop public social media accounts into micro-influencer accounts, and a project to pass the baton. I'm now getting into project mode more and more regularly. The level of unhappiness that I experienced during depressions and crises are big parts of the journey that led me to wake up. In fact, I experienced a new crisis recently until I decided to leave home for good, now that my kids are on track to succeed in their studies and coming up careers. The good stress caused by a crisis or a trauma pushes the subject to work on himself to find a way out of the crisis. We learn to change our view of the world because we understand that many of the elements of these crises and traumas are not under our control. Paradoxically, we learn to take control of our own lives by recognizing the limits of control that are linked to the self-will of other subjects around us. The freedom of someone ends and therefore also begins, where the freedoms of others begin and therefore end. To be free, awake, and happy is therefore to learn to let go. By accepting that we do not control everything that can influence our life, and by focusing on what is in our sphere of influence.